Well, we're back with another video. This one here, you kind of consider it kind of a informational video about uh, people. Everybody's wanting to get into truck driving now, flatbedding in particular. Uh, well, flatbedding is a little bit different than regular truck driving. Uh, it's not something that everybody can do because there's a little more to it. Uh, it's a lot more demanding physically, mentally, knowledgeably. You know, some people say, "Oh, don't take rocket science." Yeah, but it does take a lot of common sense and knowing, uh, because this is a job that requires you to get out of your truck. For those of you who don't like to get out in your truck, you don't like to walk, go inside. You don't want to flatbed because I have checked my steps sometimes, and when I was doing general freight, doing tarping and all that other stuff, and you could walk anywhere between 2 to 5 miles just walking around your trailer back and forth between when they're loading it, you help them get it straightened out where you want it, and then you've got to throw your straps over the load, which means you're throwing the straps over on one side, then you're walking to the other side, and you're tying them down, you're rolling them up, you're putting them in the winches, you're winching it down. Then when you get your tarps out, you got to get your tarps, pull them down. Then you got to take and lug those heavy tarps, throw them up on top of your load, unroll them, and then you got to unfold each side, and then you got to get right back down, and then you'll tie down, like I'll tie down one corner, the other corner, maybe one in the middle. Then I'm going to go to the other side and do the corners to keep it from, because if you just do one side and you're pulling on one side, that whole tarp's going to start pulling that way. So you got to kind of do four corners and maybe one in the middle. Then you can go down and do it. Well, that's a lot of walking, you know, so it is physically demanding. You're lugging chains. Chains aren't light. Some of these binders aren't light. And if you're running snap binders, which I run snaps, I use ratchets. You're going to have a bar that you're going to use to take a pulling things down, and it can take a little bit of pulling on those things. Uh, and in some notes, some people, I've watched them put those snap binders on. They'll have it where it's almost all the way open. They'll put the bar on it. They'll put everything they got just to lug it and a pulling. And the bad part about that is you do that and you're pulling them chains and putting them to their strongest point, to where the point towards getting toward its in its weakness. So yeah, you're stretching that chain out and it's getting right at its point, and you're thinking, oh yeah, I've got a good tight. This is a flatbed. It's not a solid piece of steel. Most of them are aluminum. What's happening when you're going down the road? They're not smooth. They're bumpy. You got dips. You got ups and downs, and that bed is going to flex up, down. And if you've got your chain up over the top and you've cranked it down as high as it'll go, and you've got that piece on there, and then all of a sudden that bed makes a dip, whether it be the front, the back, and it overextends that chain, guess what? Pop, that chain breaks. So you don't want to pull it to its max, because if you do that, then you're going to have a failure in your chain. Um, it's just one of the deals that I've watched some of these guys do. They just really overdo it. Um, I might get yelled at for saying it, but it's just the way it is. I have took and come down on some of them chains, especially when they start getting older, a little rust on them. I've broke a few chains just trying to pull them down, you know. And over the years, I've learned you get them good and tight, but don't overdo it. I've watched them guys in ratchets. Well, they're ratchet till they just can't ratchet no more. You're not living no give for that chain to have anything to where, especially if you're hauling something with tires, what's going to happen on the tires? They bounce, so that chain's going to go loose. And I don't care how tight you get it, the tires are still going to have some give. Uh, like I said, it's a lot of work. And then you're going to have to be knowledgeable on, am I putting chains on? Am I putting straps on? Uh, most commonly machinery, uh, whether it be farm construction, most everything's done in chain. It's still stronger, holds better. You really don't want to take and throw a strap over a set of, something with tires on it, which I have seen. Lord and behold, farm tractors where they just threw a strap over the back tires, strap over the front tires, and run a strap through here. When you start putting straps on anything like through the back hitch of a tractor, you got sharp edges, it's going to cut them straps. That's why we use chains. They're not going to get cut. They're a little bit stronger. They're going to hold better. You know, there's just, you got to really run through this. And if it's something that, yeah, I can do this, great, good for you. But do not be afraid to ask somebody how to do something. If you're not for sure exactly how to tie it down, the way it goes, even me, if I get on something I've never done before, which, you know, these times it's not too many things, I'm asking questions. Hey, what's the best way? Shipper, receiver, other drivers. Most drivers will let you know, tell you, because, you know, they've been there. You know, you'll have a few that'll say, hey, figure it out yourself, or, you know, some shippers, you know, but just do the best you can. Make sure you get that information you need. Do not be afraid to ask. It's one of my biggest pet peeves, you know, ask, you know, that way you're not messing nothing up. You're not causing a lot of damage, you know, because with us doing, you know, flatbed, step deck, RGing, this is an open deck. It's not like a trailer where you got walls. You know, something comes loose, the walls are going to hold it. We got no walls. Strap comes off, there's nothing holding that freight from coming off of there. That's, you know, the danger part about it. So, you know, you got to take, you know, the consequences that come of not doing things right. You know, you can get yourself hurt, you damage your equipment, hurting other people, or killing other people. Like if you're hauling coils or something, you know, steel piping, or, you know, anything like that, to where something gives way and it comes off, and you're looking at some major danger, and it can happen, and it has happened. You know, so just do it as safely as you can. If you need more knowledge, Google it. You know, there's videos everywhere. People do videos. I'm doing some of the stuff that I do to maybe help other people out. They can see how I do it, how it's done, so at least they could get a good idea of what it's like. You know, ask several people. I learned over the years, I took a little bit from each driver that I talked to, or each shipper that I talked to, and I would put the styles together to come up with my own way of doing things to where I felt safer about it. And I was like, man, that still don't look quite right. I'll add another strap, add another chain. There's no such thing as having too much on there, but there is a thing of not enough. That's the point you got to remember. So always make sure you've got an adequate amount. If questionable, add some more. People may look at it, boy, he's got a whole bunch on there, you know, but at least you're knowing it's not going to go nowhere. So just remember, you decided to take the leap over to flatbed. There is more work involved. If you're the kind of person that don't like to do much, you don't want to get out in the weather, because it doesn't matter if it's raining, it's snowing, it's sleet and ice. We get to that shipper receiver, we got to be out there in it. So yeah, I've been frozen many times. I've been out in 25-degree weather with it raining and be just soaked to the bone, couldn't feel nothing. But I love the job. I love flatbed. It's just once I got into it, you know, I've been doing it over 10 years now, been driving almost 30. I don't really want to go back to anything else. I really enjoy it. You know, I do a lot of oversize. I do most of the machinery. That's what I try to post a lot of. When I get these odd ones, you know, I'll post a little video on how I've done that. So maybe down the road, it helps another person out, you know, to where, you know, when I ask questions, when I started doing this, we really didn't have all these videos and all this stuff to go off of. So it's kind of, you know, more helpful to the new generation coming up, to where, you know, they can look it up, go off some of these videos. You know, that's what I'm doing, just informational videos. People may agree, they may disagree, but at least I'm putting something out there to give somebody, you know, a good chance at doing their job right. And that's basically what I'm doing here. So at that, that's kind of, you know, a handbag. Just be careful, be safe, enjoy what you're doing, and just be inquisitive, ask questions. So like I put on a lot of my recent videos, you know, if you like what you're seeing, go ahead and like them, share it to other people that you might think that's considering this, because I've got a number of videos out now ranging from machinery, tie downs, to just off the wall stuff, just little talking points. If you find it good, like, share, comment, subscribe. That way you see them whenever they come up. And I appreciate y'all for watching.